implement these smart driving license with junction cameras, that with today's technology you can watch how you are driving with telematics, with junction cameras, and issue points, merits or demerits. When you hit traffic lights, there are instant fines. We have worked on the framework. Of course, there will be still cases that will have to go to court. So there is so much that we are doing currently, not just because of this field development plan, but in the ordinary course of business. Don't forget that we still today have 2,000 trucks crossing any point per day. So out of 600, we should be addressing the challenge of today. But obviously, with an instant addition of 200, it exacerbates the problem, and we have to address that very quickly. So, Senator Matana, we will certainly, as we approve this field development plan, and I will really engage at a different level to ensure that all the concerns raised are addressed, including the road infrastructures that are currently being built, and that have to be finished almost immediately. I'm happy members to report that with the payments of the pending bills to date up to December 2025, there is no reason why any contractor is not on the road today where there is a contract, a running contract. And I'll be meeting with the contractors next week to basically script them on fulfilling the obligations under the various agreements we have with them, ensure that they deliver the construction on time. We will accelerate where there is need for acceleration. We did securitize Sifuna 28% of RMLF, only 7 shillings out of the 25. So we still have a fairly good headroom for maintenance. We are not being careless. If we securitize everything, how do we otherwise maintain our roads? So we're going to securitize 7 shillings out of the 25. We still have the 18 shillings. The law allows us to set aside up to 50%. And I think the wisdom of those who crafted the law and allowed up to 50% to raise additional funds is something that we need to explore and ensure that we don't have pending bills, we don't have contractors abandoning work and raising interest on certificates at 12, at 14%, when we could go to market, issue a bond at a cost of about 7 or 8%, and get the contractors and get the roads working for us. So we'll be prudent, we'll work very closely through this kind of engagements to ensure that we all appreciate what we are doing together. With respect to the question from, I think, Cecilia, the opportunities, I think it's time to really liberate the opportunities as opposed to looking at challenges of not having roads. We'll shift from where we've been building roads and start building roads in Turkana to leverage on this product. Whether the Baringo, Kapedo, Nakuru corridor will be cheaper will really depend on, do we start investing on a road that will build and finish in 3 years, yet we need to get the product to market in 1 year. So we'll start with the infrastructure that is available immediately, because we need to get to market. And then look at the most effective route that needs to be built. Do we build roads for purpose of transporting oil product to Mombasa, or do we leverage on option 2, which gets us closer to the rail, or do we go to option 3, which is the Lancet corridor? It's one thing that we'll work on together, but to get to market immediately, we'll basically leverage on the corridors which have been built, and happy to know that a lot has been done. For those of us who have lately traveled from Kitale to Nagapal or Nagatok, I don't know, when in Kenya we have to say Nagatok, but when you say that on the other side, you have to talk about Nagapal. So for those of us who have traveled that route, the route has been built, it's a class A road, and it will carry the kind of weights. And of course, we have got the traffic accident measures for that corridor. So much more of what we have seen in the last 3 years in that region will happen with a very high multiplicity.
Because this is a question that was in all the 9 meetings that we had, the shorter route came up. I heard you that we need to concentrate on how we get a program in a year, when instead of embarking on putting up a road that will take us 3 years. But what are the plans that tomorrow when we will have an opportunity to go back, we tell them yes, for now we cannot, but this is a common plan for the short route.
We looked at the unit cost of transporting a ton of petroleum products by road in terms of cost allocation. How does it cost to transport a ton of this product per kilometer? And to the extent that transportation is not a significant cost in the cost allocation, it will still make sense that you can save this money and invest what we are earning to basically build new corridors. You know, honorable members, when we come to Parliament and you give us 60 billion per year to build roads, you give us an allocation of 60 billion on account of the total collection, the GDP of the country. How much can we be allocated? When GDP of a country grows, we get more money. When we leverage on this oil product and get more money, we get money on roads. So obviously, it will become critical to look at Baringo, Kapedo, and Nakuru to an extent that we can allocate more resources for building road infrastructure. And to the extent that the revenue side, you know, many times we say, can you build this road? But we don't say where the revenue coming from. If these are revenue streams that will support us to build Baringo, Kapedo, and Nakuru, we should build immediately. And we'll work on the economics and report back. But I do see, yes, there is no reason why we should use a longer route if we can build a shorter route to the extent that we'll have some money to do that. Senator Veronica, the cost scenarios I just talked to the unit costing of transporting products, and yes, I agree, we can get the shorter routes immediately, why not? But why we are adopting the routes that are available to us today is because we must get to market. If this project was not bankable, to the extent that if you use the current routes, which are longer, to market, you will expense, the expense will be will outdrive the cost will be so high, then nobody will basically implement this project. So to the extent that there is a bottom line and there is a share of revenue in line with the production sharing contract, that will be earned by the contractor and that will be earned by the government. I think it will make sense when we look at the arithmetic to start with the roads that are available today, as we look at the shorter routes and the options of the railway. So it's a bankability issue, and we can look at the cost allocation scenarios to be able to appreciate that yes, it's viable to start using the routes or the corridors that are available as we look at better options that can give us better returns, and we will do that because it's business. On road safety, members, I've said we are able to do so much, and we should not just do it because we are getting an additional 600 trucks. We are adding so many vehicles on our roads today, and we're just in the process of finalizing is I've considered some new regulations on drunk and driving. You know, last time we had a problem because there was a legal challenge on those alcohol which was not legally supported, and the court ruling basically put aside. We've considered the need for inspection of all vehicles that are on our roads. When you are developed economies today, a vehicle which is beyond 7 years because of pollution is not licensed to be on the road. We need to inspect all our vehicles, and vehicles to do this will be licensing. We are working on a framework, fairly advanced, where inspection can be done in various towns by private licensed inspectors. And therefore, you know, most of the accidents are because of refuse, most of the accidents because of the tire pass. We are not inspecting our vehicles. The discipline from the driver to the need for inspection, you know, currently we don't inspect the private motor vehicles. The regulations will now require that all vehicles be inspected, and so that we don't subject somebody in Homa Bay to travel to Kisumu, or somebody in Bombay to travel all the way to Kisumu for inspection will be opening up private inspectors who are licensed by NTSA to inspect vehicles probably in every county headquarters, and that 600 million shillings which is required for government to set up an inspection center can be done by the private sector, and therefore reduce the accidents which will be controlled into having more discipline, employing technology on smart driving license and so on and so forth. So we pay more attention on the road safety because we lose so much. This has been costed to what it costs GDP loss to the country when we lose breadwinners on the road and the loss to the economy because of accidents. So we are working on that. On the concern of Alicia, you raised the question of sales and tariff that may be enforced by various counties. Like I said again, we have a framework and we are working through the various engagement mechanisms with the county governments to ensure that we don't unnecessarily accelerate the cost of doing business, and therefore there's a framework that is fairly advanced and will be ensuring that there is a seamless framework across all the counties with respect to this. Because don't forget that any cost inherent in business and can be captured will basically be borne and will reduce the share of the profit that will otherwise come to government. So we work on that. Subject to approval, we get into a phase when we discuss and agree on most of these areas. Let me touch on the question from Aramat. The Road Summit. Starting next month, we will be deploying 12 guns on the CRBC section. This is the Rironi to Gilgil, and another 12 guns from Gilgil to Summit. We'll be deploying like 12 subcontractors within the same contractor. We are getting them to move 12 teams. So you'll see 12 construction sites between Rironi to Gilgil, Kaliadus. That's where they split the road. And there's a company called Shandong who is picking up from Gilgil with 12 guns going through Nakuru all the way to Summit. And I want to promise to deliver this road as a ministry on behalf of by June 2027. In fact, Rironi, Naivasha want to open for traffic by August this year. Will be done. Rironi to Naivasha will open for traffic by August. We'll have finished that section. And then we will go to the MYKE side. This is Rironi, MYKE, Naivasha. We'll open the upper side, A8, and then we go to A8 South and work on that. June 2027, June next year, the whole corridor will be done. We are using 24 guns, like 24 companies. Within the two companies, we have basically pushed that contractual requirement so that we finish this road. And don't forget, we're not just building a road. Kenyans have suffered. You know, it's an impossible corridor. Yes. And these are roads servicing Uganda, Rwanda, all the way to DRC. We have come back trade. It's like we are not in business as a country. So we finish that road by June next year. Please, members, you know, we are not
I just want the CS to clarify that road is not going to be free like the current road. It's a toll road. So those shouting put up here should give us a break.
Members, we are not German, it's Luton. Let's give the CS to finish. Otherwise, when we go to site shows, we are not there for site shows. Yeah, please.